following program is a production of Hōʻike Kauaʻi Community Media.
So member DeCosta.
Aloha.
We're giving you a quick review of today's committee meetings, October 2nd, 2024. The meeting started off with some certificates. We first started celebrating 61 years of local small business, Tahiti Nui, and all the stuff that they've done for our community in the Hanalei and just the surrounding area. You shared some fond memories over there and some things that they've done. Yeah,
Tahiti Nui has been a great place. You know, now they kind of morphed into a restaurant, but way back when we had auntie and uncle running the place, they had flower lays, and they just, she actually came from Tahiti, and they just had a ambiance of aloha. And I remember when I went down there when you were just in Pampers back in the early 90s, and it was a very fun place to get some refreshments and enjoy. And they've been in business for 60 plus years. And Bruce and the wife is a blessing to have today, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's really important for us to remember these and honor these small businesses. One, to honor the past, but really look into the future and help encourage our local small business to keep going. And I shared a little bit of my background as a newly, having fond memories of Tahiti Nui through Nanea and all the work that she's done with taking Tahiti Nui forward. So congratulations to 61 years and looking forward for 61 more years of Tahiti Nui being there.
And Auntie Louise, right, that's her name. And Council Chair Raposo shared some fond stories of being a young Luki cop in the Hanalei area and having a meal and a soft drink at Tahiti Nui. And just having that true aloha spirit that they represent. So all of you guys who enjoy Tahiti Nui for a good food or soft drink, it was made good soft drinks they had back then. I guess they were on the World Mai Tai Challenge.
Yes.
Tahiti Nui makes the best Mai Tais. Maybe you and I...
In the world.
Maybe me and you should go down after we discuss some more policy that you and I work really well together and go have a world-class Mai Tai.
I think that's what we should do.
I think we should do that. Perfect.
Let's do that.
So moving on, we had the Kauaʻi senior softball.
Yes.
Who did excellent, high second place. Not just second place, high second place in a major tournament in Utah. Yeah. And I believe that they did really well. And they said they practiced like 8 months out of the year. Yeah. Every Saturday they have a game.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where these senior softballers, they are taking these things super serious. And one thing that I did want to share that they shared on the floor, a mahalo to all the Parks and Recreation team for just maintaining the fields and allowing them to have the resources to keep their skills up and be ready to compete at the highest level. So congratulations to them.
Pat Porter and his team does an excellent work. And who's the department head of parks? Let me think. Addison Bulosan. And who's your deputy?
Right.
Like Batman and Robin. You know you're Robin, buddy. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next agenda item here. We have Public Works and Veterans Affairs. We had the discussion on the Bill 2926, which was deferred. They had to go back to the Contractors Association, work on much of the ordinance that came down from the state level. It was code that has been adopted. And every time we adopt a code, it moves like 2 to 4 years and we're behind time. But we did have some amendments. I don't know if you talk about some of the amendments, but I can, but I'll let you start if you want to.
Yeah, you got yours. And another one that was proposed by Chair Raposo was basically to make sure that any funds or fees that are generated by the permitting fees, if the 15% stays within the department. And mainly that was just to make sure that these funds are being used for these issues or for the dedicated needs of the department and not go into the general fund where these funds could be used for other things other than what it's supposed to be for. So I think that was smart, and I'm glad that we're able to add that into the bill.
I think that was Councilman Kagawa and Councilman Raposo working together, not quite like Batman and Robin, but they were working together, and they came up with that allocation, and 15% was always there. Just that whatever money wasn't spent past $200,000, it was gone back into the general fund. Now they can hold back that funding so they can use it for the permitting process to hire more personnel, to make the permitting faster. So that was a great allocation to the amendment. I did have one that I introduced after I met with Building and Construction Community and the Contractors Association and Leo, who runs building. My goodness, we have the blessing to have her in charge. We decided to amend the open beam ceiling to having installation. So before it was where you cannot have open beam unless you have installation. It takes about anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 more to double insulate a wall. Now, I'm not sure if you know about construction, but when you cut those 4x6 or 2x8 or 4x8 beams, that's going to be a rafters. They no longer let you have an open beam. You got to put insulation, so it's almost like a double roof. And this is costly, Addison. Like, nobody can afford it today. So we made it optional. I think this is going to help a lot of homeowners who want to build open beam ceiling houses. And we are just working hard to make our people's amenities easier and faster. And how about that 300 square foot shed that Council Member Raposo and I believe, was it Bernard Carvalho, that increased it from 200 square foot to now 300 square feet. So when you go to Home Depot to buy Nikki and your son a new storage for the backyard, which Home Depot sells 288 square foot of shed, you don't need a permit now. Right. You can go and just put that shed up. You have no governance from the county.
Yeah, and I like what you did with the open beam. That makes total sense, especially when you think that probably was meant for someplace that needed better climate control. But that's adding, like you said, an additional $40,000 to $60,000 cost that might make that new build or that build unaffordable. So good catch.
I mean, $1,000 for a family that's trying to move into their turnkey home is big, right? It's the rice cooker, it's the microwave, it's a brand new fridge, correct? I remember when we built our house, my wife and I ran short, and we had to get that Home Depot credit card and put our lights in, and just lights alone can cost you $10,000. So we got to make things cheaper for our local families, and I know that this council is working really hard to do that, and it's obvious, So your turn on your Park and Rec.
Yep, Parks and Recreation Transportation Committee had one item. Thanks to Councilmember Kagawa for requesting a briefing regarding to the county's ownership of certain courts. Specifically, the one that was in discussion was the Lihue Court right here by Wilcox Elementary, and that was a great catch for Councilmember Kagawa to share with the council to make sure that we are clear on what happened, which is Act 307. The state took over back some of their parcels that were...
5, actually.
Yeah. Only in the Department of Education. And all 5 were part of the Department of Education. And so it was a good discussion. I think the biggest part for it was just to maintain the use of the facilities so that the public has access, especially all the pickleballers. I mean, at some point we got to go play pickleball.
I don't think your wife Nikki and my wife Drina are going to let us go play pickleball. We got to cook rice, wash the dishes, and help with chores. Like we're different on that agenda as far as husbands, domesticated, you and I. But anyway, back to the 5 courts. We want to make sure that our community can enjoy their court, and no matter if it's a state or county, let's work together. Let's have lights in that park. Let's let our people use the park. And if the kids got to use the park during the day at school, then bless the children that can go to a court that's nicely resurfaced. So no matter state or county, right? Let's not fight over it. Let's work together to solve a problem, to make our constituents more happy. Because that's our job. Yeah. Love it.
Exactly.
That's our job.
All right.
And you're on, I think, the public safety.
Yes.
We'll do it together.
Yep.
So take the lead on that public safety.
Yeah, so we had another request, and this is one of the roles of county council, which is to, 1, pass legislation, but 2, to keep our community informed. And what we can do is request for briefings. And this is a briefing from 2 of our organizations, or 3 of our organizations, including the community, and that included the Kaua'i Fire Department, the Kaua'i Police Department, and KSAR, which is the Kaua'i Search and Rescue nonprofit, and then all our community members who do search and rescue, to have the discussion on how we can make it better. And I'll just add that the one comment I made was that everyone's doing their best, but we always can do better. And I think that's something that everyone was committed in that room. And you've participated in search and rescues, and your experience allows us to really understand, how we can improve these things and how we got to work together. So can you share about that?
I just think this honoring people's strengths, whether you're a volunteer, a nonprofit, or a organized county service like police and fire, right? Honor the procedures that have to follow. take the volunteers' experience, work with the nonprofits, not put their chest any bigger than anybody else's chest, right? Nobody's better than each other. Let's all just work together, humble ourselves, and go search and rescue and find the missing people. Yeah. That's all it is. And, kudos to you and I doing that rescue bill. I mean, we did that rescue bill, Councilman Bulosan and myself, to help curb the rescue costs. And I heard a statistic on the radio that it's actually rescue costs is down on Kaua'i now because of the work that you and I have done.
Yeah, so I got to thank Councilmember DeCosta for adding me into that bill. He first drafted it, and it was my first couple months. It's like, hey, let's do this together, and I thought that was a great idea. This is one of the most challenging things we face on Kaua'i, to see people, run into challenges, get lost, and need the help, and especially need rescues. It's taxing on our community, and so whatever we can do to protect our community, we got to do everything possible. And
big shout out to all the volunteers that come out doing a rescue, man, and they're the unsung heroes, right? They're not the nonprofit, they're not the county entities, and big shout out to our police and fire. They do a really good job on coordinating and using the people in a community as a liaison to help with the rescues. So big shout out, Addison. Thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you on every Wednesday council meeting. Sometimes I miss you if you got to take it, a little handsome king of yours there. Big shout out to your son. Let's give him a shout out. Maybe one day I see that. Yeah. Anyway, bless you, Kaua'i. Bless you, Hōʻike. Channel 54 for all you do. Yes. Right? You got to give that there.
Yes.
And our new Olivia, who does the filming of Hōʻike, got to give her a big shout out plug right there. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hōʻike Kauaʻi Community Media's president and CEO is Allegra Gaines. Administrative assistant, Leiko Someda. Production and education services by Roger Olson. Production and IT services by Max Richardson. News and events producer, Trisha Allen. County producer and social media manager, Olivia Franco. Hōʻike's board of directors include Chair Adam Reversi, Vice Chair Lexi Jones, Secretary Nathaniel Evslin, and Treasurer Jackie Kina. Additional directors include Leah Awohi, Lori Barrett, Rod Green, Teak Rubiano, and Taylor Young.